What is time? Everyone, what's time? Is time really money? Does cash just appear in your pocket as time passes? For some people, though, interest keeps growing over time. Time can be a real pain. It's not exactly money. So what is time? Aristotle defined it like this. Time is something that seems to exist, but you can't quite put it into words. You're all on Aristotle's level right now, aren't you? You feel like you know what it is, but you can't explain it. That's what Aristotle said too. In Newton's era, he said, time is something that flows from the past through the present and into the future. How's that? It sounds a bit clearer, right? He defined time as flowing from the past to the present to the future. Then comes Einstein, the father of modern physics. He said past, present, and future don't happen in order. They're all mixed up. The sun we see from Earth right now is actually the sun from 8 minutes ago. Do you get it? The sun, as it exists right now, won't be visible to us for another 8 minutes. We're only ever seeing the sun's past from here on Earth. The light leaving the sun right now is present there, but it'll be the past by the time it reaches us. It becomes the sun from 8 minutes in the future, so to speak. There's light that left the sun and is halfway here. It left 4 minutes ago from the sun's perspective, but it'll arrive 4 minutes in the future from our view. So, past, present, and future are all mixed together. The past can be ahead of the future or behind it. It's all jumbled up. Time isn't something that flows neatly from past to present to future. It's all mixed up. So Einstein basically said, time doesn't exist. That's why you couldn't answer when I asked, what's time? It's because it doesn't exist. We think we're perceiving time, but what we're really perceiving are events. Take history, for example. We talk about prehistoric times, the times before history. When we say Korean history is 5,000 years old, it's because we found artifacts from 5,000 years ago. We recognize that time because of events that involved people using or making those artifacts. If we found artifacts from 5,500 years ago, our history would suddenly expand by 500 years. So, if there are events, there's time. No events, no time. When we talk about Joseon Dynasty history, we list the kings, right? We perceive time through events like kings changing. If nothing happened, if no kings changed, there would be no time. So time is events. It's the same with the concept of eternity. We can grasp time when there's a beginning and an end. But without those, we enter the realm of eternity. We can't manage time because it doesn't exist. So, what should we manage? We should manage events. We manage events. When we make time plans, what are we really planning? We're planning events. Like, I'll meet someone at a certain time. We plan the event of meeting. We plan the event of moving from one place to another. It's all event planning. To manage our time well, we need to manage the events in our lives. What events will we make happen? If only bad events happen to me, I become a bad person. If only good events happen, I'll become a good person and my life will improve. Choosing which events to have is what planning is all about. Stephen Covey wrote a book called First Things First. In it, he categorizes events: important and urgent, not important but urgent, neither important nor urgent, and important but not urgent. We usually handle important and urgent things well. What are these? For example, imagine your child breaking their leg. Is that important? Is it urgent? It's urgent, right? Nobody ignores something like that. But we often have many tasks that aren't important yet are urgent. Looking back over a year, you might realize you were very busy but can't remember what you did, right? Why? It wasn't important, so you don't remember it. And what do we spend most of our time on? Things that are neither important nor urgent. Is watching TV dramas important? Is it urgent? No, but we pour most of our time into stuff like that. Is chatting with friends important? Is it urgent? No, it's not urgent. Why? Because it's not important. You can't remember a single chat from a year ago. The events we need to manage are those that aren't urgent but are important. For example, writing a life scenario. Nothing bad will happen if you don't do it today, right? But it's an incredibly important event. And is loving the people around you important? It's very important, but it's not urgent, so we keep postponing these things. For instance, let's say you had an argument with a family member. You don't apologize right away. A day passes, then 2, and before you know it, deep resentment builds up. We should handle these things urgently, but we keep pushing them down our priority list. It's the same with work. Becoming wealthy, succeeding, doing the Atomy business properly, and getting promoted are all very important things. Why? Because we must achieve these for the sake of our loved ones, but we don't treat them as urgent. We postpone them for a day, a week, or a month to meet someone else and end up meeting only a few people regularly. Please, those of you who think you're working just by being at the center, just showing up at the center is absolutely not working. If you come to the center and don't properly call even one person, don't properly meet anyone, and don't properly sell even one item, and instead spend the day worrying, chatting idly, talking negatively, and doing trivial tasks, you're missing out on all the important work. So, what are these important tasks? Put the core matters first in an important place. Treat precious things preciously. Set priorities. It's extremely important to live a life of living, loving, learning, and serving as we've written. Serve others. You might think, I can't even take care of myself. How can I serve others? That's not true. It's important. If you keep postponing it every day, it becomes something you never do in your lifetime. It's not urgent, but it's important. That's why we do it. We need to choose which events we'll make happen. If you choose to do all the truly important things without missing any, putting them at the top of your priority list and handling them, all the other miscellaneous tasks will get resolved along with them. You need to think about the concept well. 2 concepts exist simultaneously. One is that you must place important matters in important positions and do them. These important matters should come first in order even if they're not urgent. It's the concept of putting the first thing first. So, to succeed, you need to make a list today. You should have a list of 50 names ready at your seat. And you should always have a list of 250 names. You need to call at least 20 people every day, meet 5 people daily, And set a goal to sell at least one item without fail. You need to consider this as a precious task and do it. Even if not selling a single item today doesn't affect your livelihood, if you've decided that's your task, if you've said you won't go home before selling one item today, you should stubbornly go out of your way to a friend's house and sell even one set of shampoo before going home. If you think that it's okay not to sell today, it keeps dragging on, so you need to choose your time well. Time involves the concept of choice. You need to make choices. What should you choose first? The important things, right? Do the precious things first. Secondly, time can be compressed, so you can process time. This is called time engineering. Since our lives are composed of time, we need to be proficient in time engineering. If we accurately understand the concept of time engineering, we can control our lives as we wish. But in this life composed of time, if we don't have a clear concept of time and don't know how to handle it, we can't handle our own lives, leading us to ask, why is my life in such a state? Are you satisfied with your lives right now? No. Why is it in this state? So what should you do? You need to handle your life skillfully to make it satisfactory, but you don't know how. Why? Because you don't really understand what life is. You're just asking, I wish it would go well. How can I make it go well? What should I do? If you grasp the concept of time, you can take control and steer your life and your time just like that. So, you can choose this time. What did we say time was? We said it was events, right? Since it's events, you just need to choose important events. You need to choose the precious things, the things you need to do first. But random things keep happening. If something pops up here, you go there. If something pops up there, you go there. If a friend suddenly suggests doing something, you go there. You're chasing after things that don't really matter either way, missing the core things you actually need to do. You need to choose well and stick to it. To do that, you need to write down the things you need to do now. And you need to compress events. You need to make a list of 250 names and inform these 250 people first. You need to promote that you've started a business, whether it's selling shampoo, cosmetics, toothpaste, or health foods. You need to let people know so they can decide whether to buy or not. When it comes to informing 250 people, some people take 3 months to do it. But some people might do it in 30 days, right? If you called 10 people every day, you can inform everyone in 30 days. Some people might even do it in 10 days. You could call 25 people a day and tell them, I've started selling shampoo. And among similar functional products, it's the cheapest. It's only half the price. I tried it myself and it's really good. You could inform 250 people in 10 days. Some people compress what would take 90 days into 30 days and what would take 30 days into 10 days. Time has been compressed, right? What did we end up compressing? We compressed events. When we compress events, what gets compressed? Time gets compressed, right? So does the concept of events as time make sense here? It does, right? That's why we need to compress events. If we don't compress them, they don't work. For example, what happens when you boil water and create pressure? It means you can make things happen there. You can't just leave things uncompressed, dragging on like laundry on a clothesline. If you only talk about it when you feel like it, when you're in a good mood, and when it's sunny, and don't talk on cloudy days, or if you get upset and go home because someone nagged you, and you live like this, nothing will happen. If you go on like this for 1 year, if you go on like this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, nothing will be accomplished. Work isn't something you do by stretching it out like laundry on a line. How do you work? You work by compressing things. Choosing is work. First, you need to select the important tasks from the unimportant ones, push aside the trivial matters, and then execute them. The execution also depends on how much you compress it. The concept of time includes the concept of transcendence, of passing over. Time can go to the past and the future, right? Can we transcend the present time? Yes, we can. We can think about past events and future events. So we're not bound by time. We're transcending it. The more we think about future events, the more we're going into the future. But what if you have no thoughts about the future? You should have a clear picture in your mind of how you'll be next year, in 3 years, what changes will occur, and what kind of person you will be in 3 years. But some people don't transcend time and only live in the present. Saying, "It's frustrating. I'm going crazy." Even if today is frustrating, you should have a bright future pictured in your mind. You should be in the future transcending time. That's what it means to transcend time. So time passes over. The fourth concept is duplication. Time duplication. This concept of duplication is when you see yourself succeeding by moving in a compressed way, and your partner becomes a sales master just like you. That's duplication. When duplicating, the original needs to be proper, right? You need to be proper yourself. Among you, those who think if only everyone was like me, if only all my partners did things like me, can succeed. But can those who think it would be terrible if all my partners were like me succeed? They can't. Why? Because to duplicate, you need to make the original proper first. We have the ability to transcend time, right? This is an incredible ability, but people don't use it. They don't use this ability and get trapped in the present, and as time flows, they only live in the present again. This way, change never comes. To change yourself, you need to go to the future. Imagine what you'll be like in a year, and it needs to be different from now. You must have a picture of a different you in 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. So we live in the future. Do I have a picture of our company's future in my mind? I do. It's clearly pictured. When the company's monthly sales exceed 10 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion Korean won and reach trillions, what will we do? How will we navigate the global market? I have a clear picture in my mind of how we'll lead the era of non-store distribution as Korea's distribution shifts from the discount store era to the non-store distribution era. Because we have the ability to transcend, I have these aspects in my mind, transcending time, even though they're future images. If we use that ability, we can think about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later, and even the world of eternity. But despite having this amazing ability to transcend, some people only live for today. Why? They keep feeling suffocated, unsatisfied, irritated. Living only for today. Even if today's situation irritates you, next year you'll live a life without irritation. In 2 years, you'll live a life overflowing with joy where you can jump with happiness. If you picture yourself in 5 or 10 years, living a life where even those around you are moved to tears because of you, it will become a reality. Duplicating time means choosing truly important, precious, and valuable tasks necessary for living a balanced life while transcending time. You need to choose the necessary events to become wealthy, healthy, long-lived, loving, learning, and serving others. If your head is full of all sorts of distracting thoughts like anger or hatred, the energy to use your brain drains away. You know those times when you spend the whole afternoon fuming and hating someone? Some people burst with anger, saying, "How could they do that?" And it goes on for days. The Bible says, "Do not let the sun go down on your anger." Instead of hating someone and fuming, you should live a balanced life. You're wasting all the energy that could be used for living a balanced life on useless things. You waste it on worrying and fretting. God, the Creator, made us all to succeed and live well. So we should all live well. We can live well. Some people ask me, "How did you think of all that?" Others say, "Is there anything you don't know?" There are more things I don't know. But I try to minimize the time when energy is wasted. I really hope the Atomy family does well. Is this important to me or not? It's important, right? Living while loving and serving, this is important to me. In reality, the ability we have is more than enough for tremendous success. So, if you just get the concept of using time well, sort it out, you will definitely be able to succeed.